We are here with the official Canadian government website, and we're going to explore the BioDigital Convergence. Exploring BioDigital Convergence. What happens when biology and digital technology merge? In the coming years, biodigital technologies could be woven into our lives in the way that digital technologies are now. Biological and digital systems are converging and can change the way we work, live, and even evolve as species. More than a technological change, this biodigital convergence may transform the way we understand ourselves and cause us to redefine what we consider human or natural. Biodigital convergence may profoundly impact our economy, our ecosystems, and our society. Being prepared to support it while managing its risks with care and sensitivity will shape the way we navigate social and ethical considerations, as well as guide policy and governance conversations. Guided by its mandate, Policy Horizons Canada intends to start an informed and meaningful dialogue about plausible futures for biodigital convergence and the policy questions that may arise. In this initial paper, we define and explore biodigital convergence, why it is important to explore now, its characteristics, what new capabilities could arise from it, and some initial policy implications. We want to engage with broad spectrum partners and stakeholders on what our biodigital future might look like, how this convergence might affect sectors and industries, and how our relationships with technology, nature, and even life itself could evolve. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Canadians and policymakers began to understand that the digital age was upon us. Early movers seized opportunities, grappled with challenges, and initiated deft policies that have provided benefits for decades. We continue to see the powerful effects of digitalization, and more are surely to come. But we may be on the cusp of another disruption of similar magnitude. Digital technologies and biological systems are beginning to combine and merge in ways that could be profoundly disruptive to our assumptions about society, economy, and our bodies. We call this the biodigital convergence. This paper sets out an initial framing to guide Policy Horizons' upcoming foresight work. 3 ways biodigital convergence is emerging. Number 1, full physical integration of biological and digital entities. Number 2, co-evolution of biological and digital technologies. Number 3, conceptual convergence of biological and digital systems. Biodigital convergence is opening up strikingly new ways to change human beings, our bodies, minds, and behaviors, change or create other organisms, alter ecosystems, sense, store, process, and transmit information, manage biological innovation, and structure and manage production and supply chains. Possible characteristics of the biodigital system: democratization, decentralization, geographic diffusion, scalability, customization, and reliance on data. What is biodigital convergence? Biodigital convergence is the interactive combination, sometimes to the point of merging, of digital and biological technologies and systems. Policy Horizons is examining 3 ways in which this convergence is happening. Number 1, full physical integration of biological and digital entities. Digital technologies can be embedded in organisms, and biological components can exist as parts of digital technologies. The physical meshing, manipulating, and merging of the biological and digital are creating new hybrid forms of life and technology, each functioning in the tangible world. often with heightened capabilities. Robots with biological brains and biological bodies with digital brains already exist. See, it already exists, as do human-computer and brain-machine interfaces. The medical use of digital devices in humans, as well as digitally manipulated insects such as drone dragonflies and surveillance locusts, are examples of digital technologies being combined with biological entities. By tapping into the nervous system and manipulating neurons, tech can be added to an organism to alter its function and purpose. New human bodies and new senses of identity could arise as the convergence continues. Number 2. Coevolution of biological and digital technologies. This type of biodigital convergence emerges when advances in one domain generate major advances in the other. The coevolution of biological and digital sciences and technologies enables progress in each domain that would be impossible otherwise. This could lead to biological and digital technologies that are developed as integrated or complementary systems. Complex living systems, bacteria, fungi, plants, and animal life, including humans, are increasingly subject to examination and understanding by digital tools and applications such as machine learning. This deeper understanding, enabled by digital technologies, means that biology is subject to influence and manipulation that was not possible a few years ago. For example, gene sequencing combined with artificial intelligence leads to understanding genetic expression, which is then used to alter existing organisms to create organic compounds in new ways, or even entirely synthetic organisms. The CRISPR-Cas9 approach and other new gene editing techniques would have been impossible without the evolution of digital technology and bioinformatics. Advances in digital technologies have helped the advancement of the biodigital. We also see a greater understanding of biology, which is fueling progress in the field of biological computing. Neural nets, computer systems that are designed based on biological brains, are an example of how biological understanding is shaping digital technology. There is also a blurring between what is considered natural or organic and what is digital, engineered, or synthetic. For example, biosynthetic vanilla is created using ferulic acid, eugenol, and glucose as substrates, and bacteria, fungi, and yeast as microbial production hosts. Although it does not come from the vanilla plant, under both US and EU food legislation, its production of microbial transformations of natural precursors allows it to be labeled as natural flavoring. Number 3. Conceptual convergence of biological and digital systems. A third form of biodigital convergence involves a shift in perspective that could reshape our framing and approach to biological and digital realms, facilitating the blending of the two. As we continue to better understand and control the mechanisms that underlie biology, we could see a shift away from vitalism, the idea that living and non-living organisms are fundamentally different because they are thought to be governed by different principles. Instead, the idea of biology as having predictable and digitally manageable characteristics may become increasingly common as a result of living in a biodigital age. Any student of biology today will have grown up in a digital world and may consciously or subconsciously apply that frame of reference to bioinformatics and biology generally. From a digital perspective, we see a potential shift in the opposite direction. Computing began as a means of producing predictable, replicable, and relatively simple outcomes. As digital technology became more complex and connected, the system began to mimic the characteristics of the biological world, leading to the notion of technological ecosystems. Biological models are also being used to develop digital tools, such as AI based on neural nets. So the three ways that biodigital convergence is emerging is number one, full physical integration of biological and digital entities. Digital technology can be embedded in organisms, and biological components can exist as parts of digital technologies. Number two, the coevolution of biological and digital technologies. Coevolution emerges when advances in one domain generate major advances in the other. And number three, the conceptual convergence of biological and digital systems. Conceptual convergence involves a shift in perspective that could reshape our framing and approach of biological and digital realms, facilitating the blending of the two. Here they talk about why they should explore the biodigital convergence now. Good morning, BioDigital. Many factors could affect how biodigital convergence technologies could impact different societies, countries, cultures, environments, and people around the globe. The following is one of many possible narratives depicting some of the innovations in a future biodigital world. I wake up to the sunlight and salty coastal air of the Adriatic Sea. I don't live anywhere near the Mediterranean, but my AI, which is also my health advisor, has prescribed a specific air quality, scent, and solar intensity to manage my energy levels in the morning, and has programmed my bedroom to mimic this climate. The fresh bed sheets grown in my building from regenerating fungi are better than I imagined. I feel rested and ready for the day. I need to check a few things before I get up. I send a brain message to open the app that controls my insulin levels and make sure my pancreas is optimally supported. I can't imagine having to inject myself with needles like my mother did when she was a child. Now it's a microbe transplant that auto-adjusts and reports on my levels. Everything looks all right, so I check my brain's digital interface to read the dream data that was recorded and processed in real time last night. My therapy app analyzes the emotional responses I expressed while I slept. It suggests I take time to be in nature this week to reflect on my reoccurring trapped in a box dream and to enhance helpful subconscious neural activity. My AI recommends a quote-unquote forest day. I think, okay, and my AI and neural implant do the rest. The summary of my bug-bot surveillance footage shows that my apartment was safe from intruders, including other bug bots, last night. But it does notify me that my herd of little cyber dragonflies are hungry. They've been working hard collecting data and monitoring the outside environment all night. But the number of mosquitoes and Lyme-carrying ticks they normally hunt to replenish their energy was smaller than expected. With the thought, I ordered some nutrient support for them. My feet hit the regenerative carpet and I grab a bathrobe, although I don't need it for warmth. My apartment is gradually warming up to a comfortable 22 degrees, as it cycles through a constantly shifting daily routine that keeps me in balance with the time of day and season. Building codes and home energy infrastructure are synchronized and require all homes to be auto-regulated for efficiency. Because houses and buildings are biomimetic and incorporate living systems for climate control wherever possible, they are continuously filtering the air and capturing carbon. I check my carbon offset measure to see how much credit I will receive for my home's contribution to the government's climate change mitigation program. As I head to the bathroom, I pause at the window to check the accelerated growth of the neighboring building. Biological architecture has reached new heights, and the synthetic tree compounds are growing taller each day. To ensure that the building can withstand even the strongest winds, and to reduce swaying for residences on the top floors, a robotic 3D printer is clambering around the emerging structure and adding carbon-reinforced biopolymer, strengthening critical stress points identified by its AI-supported sensor array. I am glad they decided to treat the roof of this building with fire-resistant, genetically modified red cedar, since urban forest fires have become a concern. While I'm brushing my teeth, Jamie, My personal AI asks if I'd like a delivery drone to come pick up my daughter's baby tooth, which fell out 2 days ago. The epigenetic markers in children's teeth have to be analyzed and cataloged on our family genetic blockchain in order to qualify for the Open Health rebate. So I need that done today. I replaced the smart sticker that monitors my blood chemistry, lymphatic system, and organ function in real time. It's hard to imagine the costs and suffering that people must have endured before personalized preventative medicine became common. Also, I'll admit it sounds gross, but it's a good thing the municipality samples our fecal matter from the sewage pipes. It's part of the platform to analyze data on nutritional diversity, gut bacteria, and antibiotic use to aid the public health screening and fight antibiotic resistant strains of bacterial infections. Supposedly, the next download for my smart sink will allow me to choose a personalized bionic mix for my dechlorinated drinking water. Today's microbiome breakdown is displayed on the front of my fridge as I enter the kitchen. It's tracking a steady shift as I approach middle age. Today it suggests miso soup as part of my breakfast because my biome needs more diversity as a result of recent stress and not eating well last night. The buildings in my neighborhood share a vertical farm, so I can get carbon credits by eating miso made from soybeans produced on my roof and fermented by my fridge. My fridge schedules the production of more miso and some kimchi in preparation for the coming week. It also adds immune-boosting ingredients to my grocery order because we're approaching flu season, and the strain that I am likely to be susceptible to has been detected only a few blocks away. I take my smart supplement, which just popped out of my bioprinter. The supplement adjusts the additional nutrients and microbes I need, and sends data about my body back to my bioprinter to adjust tomorrow's supplement. The feedback loop between me and my bioprinter also cloud stores daily data for future preventative health metrics. The real-time monitoring of my triglycerides is important given my genetic markers. As my coffee pours, I check my daughter's latest school project, which has been growing on the counter for the past week. She's growing a liver for a local puppy in need as part of her empathy initiative at school. More stem cells are on the way to start a kidney too, because she wants to help more animals. I grab my coffee, brewed with the new certified carbon-negative bean variety, and sit on the couch for a minute. It seems the nutrient treatment I had painted on the surface of the couch and chairs has allowed them to rejuvenate. I'll have to try the treatment on my bioprinted running shoes as they are starting to wear out. Oh wow, is that the time? I have only 10 minutes before my first virtual meeting. I tighten the belt on my skeletal-muscular strength chair, lean back, and log into my workspace. First, I get the debrief from colleagues finishing their workday on the other side of the world. I shiver momentarily as I think about how intimately we're all connected in this digital biosphere. Then it passes. Let the day begin. This story may sound far-fetched. However, all the technologies mentioned exist in some form today. While they are not yet commercially available in the form presented here, a world where we take the interaction between biological and digital technologies for granted is already starting to emerge. While this is a representation of technologies that could be part of a biodigital world, it does not represent the only plausible future. Rather, it is an imaginative vignette outlining the radical shifts that could take place within an optimistic biodigital future. Varying levels of access, adoption, and alternative realities could exist. What new capabilities arise from biodigital convergence? We are already experiencing the combination of digital and biological systems through new products, platforms, services, and industries. So again, the biodigital convergence is opening up ways to change human beings, change our bodies, minds, and behaviors, change or create other organisms, alter ecosystems, sense, store, process, and transmit information, manage biological innovation, structure and manage production and supply chains. So here are the new capabilities produced by the convergence of digital and biological systems. Here are the new ways to change human beings, our bodies, minds, and behaviors. Starting with altering the human genome, our core biological attributes and characteristics. We are able to do this with advances in gene sequencing and editing, such as CRISPR-Cas9, and machine learning helps scientists predict which genes to target for editing. And today, the world's first babies to have their genome edited are born in China. And molecular biology enhanced by tools from computer science. The next capability is monitoring, altering, and manipulating human thoughts and behaviors. They are able to do this with neurotechnologies that read brain signals to monitor attention and manage fatigue, and digital apps can help enhance brain health. Today we have SAP and EMOTIV collaborate to help SAP employees to manage stress. And Americans spent $1.9 billion last year on apps to keep their brains sharp. Next capability, new ways to monitor, manage, and influence bodily functions, as well as predict, diagnose, and treat diseases. Gene sequencing entire samples helps us understand complex environments, such as the human microbiome. Digital devices can be worn or embedded in the body to treat and monitor functionality. Machine learning systems can predict mortality and treat outcomes. And what is possible today? The University of Waterloo researchers developed a self-powering sensor for medical monitoring. Amazon patent will allow Alexa to detect a cough or a cold, and the AI gives reliable coma outcome prediction. Another new capability that is opening up is creating new organs and enhancing human functionality. What allows this? 3D printed tissues based on digital designs and production tools can create customized organs, and biohacking with implanted digital devices to enhance bodily functions. What is possible today? Bioengineers successfully 3D printed structures that mimic lung tissue and blood vessels. Lab-grown kidneys show to be fully functional in animal recipients, and implanted chips for a highly professional version of two-factor authentication. We have new ways to experience and interact with the world. Brain-machine interfaces that enable machines to be controlled through brain signals, and prosthetics that use machine learning algorithms to expand functionality and sensitivity. Today, Neuralink announced an integrated brain-machine interface platform with thousands of channels. Infinite Biomedical has its deep learning-driven prosthetic control system approved by the FDA. And FDA releases regulatory guidance on brain-controlled prosthetics. They are creating new organs and enhancing human functionality. Machine learning techniques for simulating protein folding and contributing to drug design. 3D printing tissue to test therapies. Nanobots and nanomaterials can operate and precisely deliver drugs within living creatures. And machine learning can predict the outcome of clinical trials. And today, AI protein folding algorithms solve structures faster than ever. New Zealand scientists bioprints tumor cells, hoping to grow tumors to see what treatments work best. Tiny robots crawl through mouse's stomach to heal ulcers. MIT researchers apply AI techniques to predict clinical trial outcomes. Here are new ways to change or create other organisms. Changing the type or amount of inputs that organisms need to grow. We do that through advances in gene sequencing and editing, such as CRISPR-Cas9. And today, enhances in photosynthesis in transgenic tobacco plants make them 40% more productive. They are creating entirely new organisms with tailored characteristics. Synthetic biology draws inspiration from biology, engineering, computer science, and physics for the design and construction of new biological entities. Artificial intelligence can help design microorganisms with specific characteristics. And here they list what is possible today. They are changing what and how organisms produce substances. They do that with advances in gene sequencing and editing, such as CRISPR-Cas9. Here are new ways to alter ecosystems, changing and eradicating entire species. Germline editing, using approaches such as CRISPR and gene drives that create new ways to alter ecosystems or wildlife. They are altering the natural environment at scale. Geoengineering approaches that accurately model carbon capture or solar reflectance. They are also predicting and managing the spread of organisms. Digital epidemiology relies on digital communication technologies and analytics to track diseases. Here we have the new ways to sense, store, process, and transmit information. New ways to store information using biological systems. Storing large amounts of digital information in biological systems for longer periods than current technology. And today, Microsoft and University of Washington demonstrate first fully automated DNA data storage system. Turning organisms into biocomputers. Using biological organism and attributes to perform computation. CRISPR, used to build dual-core computers inside human cells. Creating biomimetic materials. Drawing inspiration from biological systems to design more efficient electronic and digital systems. Researchers create artificial skin and nervous system with a higher sensitivity than human skin. Here are the new ways to manage biological innovation, production, and supply chains. More efficient and scalable research and production approaches. Using digital systems to scale up biological production, and using digital systems to automate research. Increasingly open and efficient supply chain management. Machine learning and distributed ledgers can track materials and aid in auditing. Blockchain becomes a source of truth for biopharma. And they have open collaboration on cell lines and genomes to support research. Digital networks to assist in the efficient exchange of biological materials and code. Here they talk about what are the possible characteristics of the biodigital system. Based on initial signals, the characteristics of the biodigital system could include democratization, decentralization, geographic diffusion, scalability, customization, and reliance on data. And they talk about it in detail here. Here are some of the initial policy questions. The future ain't what it used to be. The biodigital could unfold in numerous ways, and a future where it is part of human existence could be quite different. The following narratives, although hypothetical, describe scenarios that could emerge as biological and digital systems converge. They have radical life extension, food customized to your unique digestive system, and neurotech nightmare. Conclusion. We could be on the cusp of a long-term biodigital transformation of our economy, society, institutions, and environment. This biodigital convergence could disrupt the way we produce and consume goods and services, relate to one another, maintain and augment our bodies, acquire and process data, make decisions, and manage our place in ecosystems. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Canadians and policymakers began to understand that the digital age was upon them. Early movers seized opportunities, perceived challenges, and initiated deft policies that have provided benefits for decades. Now could be the time to make similar investments and make thoughtful decisions to guide Canada through the beginning of a biodigital convergence. Policy Horizons looks forward to collaborating with partners and stakeholders to develop policy-relevant foresight in this area. At this point, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is on the official Canadian government website, and I will leave the link in the description for those who want to read this for themselves.